Can a teacher teach furries? Professor Lando has tried that and has seen explosive growth lately. With many people watching, it seems that he has struck a chord with the internet. But is he correct?
So this comes from Urban Dictionary. Someone with an interest in anthropomorphic animals.
Right off the bat, he gets the definition of furry correct. While I wouldn't immediately turn to Urban Dictionary to define this term, it is widely agreed upon and is more accurate than people dressing up in animal costumes, or even people who do it for pleasure.
This is quite a famous diagram used amongst professors when teaching of furries.
Let's see it.
Scale.
This is interesting.
This is a sort of classification. Are you a furry?
This is a human to animal scale used to show the different degrees of furry. While I haven't seen this graph used as most people understand what a furry character would look like, it is a great way to teach people who aren't familiar with what furry is.
There's like a pseudo zero.
That's a human, right?
That's just a person. It's not technically a part of the scale. Okay, so what's one?
Is that a cat girl?
The cat ears and cat tail. This is commonly known as
The cat girl.
Not furry.
I like to know when he refers to the scale, he's trying to see if a character would be seen as an anthropomorphic animal. In other words, would a furry be interested in something like this? This is not trying to say if you don't have a fursuit, you're not a furry. Far from it. Like he said, all you need is an interest in animals with human characteristics. Now we're getting there.
What do we got here? We are becoming much more primal. Body, completely furry. The head, 3 is where we start to become more animalistic furry.
You're right.
This is where the line is
That's
crossed.
definitely. This is what people usually think of when imagining what a furry would look like. It's an animal with human characteristics like being able to walk upright, having opposable thumbs, and being able to communicate. Oh no.
Alright, so 4, what do we have here? You can see here early on the progression.
Okay, now you're going too far.
And then there is a clear distinction between 4 and 3. The general proportions are much more animal-like.
Yep, very dangerously furry. Now we're starting to see the different types of furry art styles. There are some furries who want a more cartoony look, with big eyes and to be more cute. Please don't cancel me, Twitter. On the other hand, there are people who want a more realistic look and will have body proportions to match. I think I know what this is going to be.
That's just an animal.
Yep.
What are you doing, you sick?
Despite what some may believe, there are furries that like the idea of just being an animal with no human features. They are called ferals, but they are not common, especially fursuiters, as it's very difficult to be on 4 lids with a human body. This also gets into Therians and otherkin, which are completely separate from furries, and the topic for another time. Let me know if you want me to make a video on that in the comments below.
What are you? I want to see.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to get a few
kind of a 3.
to see where we're at here. I will say, you know what? Me personally, I think I'm a 3. Now, here's a comment, though. I'm not an active 3. I think maybe I can consider myself an active 2.
There are many varying degrees to which one might express their furry side. Some might just appreciate the art, others might have a persona, and some even might have their own fursuit and go to conventions. The fandom is really what you make of it.
There's something to be said. 0 is just as weird to me personally as 5.
Almost everyone has to expose to anthropomorphic characters. I am sorry, you see them on a regular basis whether or not you're a furry.
What is a fursona?
I get this. Me.
A fursona is a personalized animal character created by someone in the furry fandom.
This is the textbook definition of what a fursona is. If you're wondering, Wikipedia is going off of Merriam-Webster here.
We're going to craft a fursona, my fursona, on stream.
Teaching about what furries are is one thing, but making a fursona is going the extra mile. He's not only trying to teach a class about the fandom, he is also trying to get into what it's like to join it. This gives a deeper look into how furries create the characters they use better than any explanation could.
But before we craft a fursona, what kinds of furries are there? When you think of furries and when you see pictures of furries, most of them are mammalian, wolves, dogs.
Me.
That's pretty much it, really.
While wolves and dogs are some of the most popular fursona species, there's also foxes, cats, and many other species which take up the vast majority of animals that people base their characters off of.
Next on, reptilian furry. We got the birds.
While not as popular as canines or felines, they do exist and make up a sizable amount of furries in the fandom.
I'm hesitant to even include this one, the insects. Honorable mention. What did the fish count as?
I'm sure insect personas exist, but I haven't seen one yet. As for fish, there are sharks, dolphins, and orcas. There are even more species, like sergals and progens, but I guess that's going to be a lesson for a more advanced class.
Where you want to start is like, okay, I want to craft my fursona. what animal am I?
When it comes to making a persona, a good place to start is to think about what would you be as an animal. I like dogs, I can get along with people, and I can be quite vocal, so I chose the husky species as my persona.
There's like two elements, what you want versus what you are. Well, there's one, it's like, what animal would you be most like? There's also a question of like, what animal would you like to be?
Husky. For me, I like the look of the husky, and at the same time, I act like a husky. For others, it might be different. You might like certain animals, and at the same time, you might act like other animals. It's really up to you to decide.
What animal is Professor Lando? We have a whole mix here. Very interesting. You always see the same kind of persona. It's the wolf. It's the dog wolf thing.
It's also the fox.
Experiment. When's the last time you saw the worm persona or the deep sea fish persona?
When it comes to making your persona, you can go with a species as common or as unique as you want. There's really no wrong way to make a persona, except, that.
Rhino. My glasses. You want to be able to seep in parts of your actual self. I have very thick brows. So you want to be able to have some of your true self shine through your persona.
What separates furries from Therians is that furries have characters that resemble themselves in a way, while Therians just want to be an animal. Sure, you can make your persona a generic wolf and leave it at that, but that's not fun. Add colors, markings, clothing, anything. Your persona is what you make it to be.
Like, I'm not a rhino.
You can't go wrong with your persona.
Can the horn be big? Yes. Be whatever.
That's true. It doesn't matter if it looks weird or it isn't even impossible in the real world. It's your persona. You can do whatever you want with it. Like, seriously. Professor Lando has just created his persona, but did he do the furry fandom justice? On one hand, he did a great job citing good sources, explaining what a furry is, and being able to show the audience how to get involved with the fandom. On the other hand, it was a bit too focused on furry as an idea, and less on furry as a community. I could also tell he was the most prepared, and having some form of plan would have helped give for better explanations. Overall though, his enthusiasm and interest for learning by doing rather than explaining is what gives Professor Lando an A. Keep up the good work, Professor. Something tells me that a certain government official from Bod might need to take a look at this lesson. Take a look at why this country is banning furries and how it could impact everyone across the world.